So, hi to everyone that might be watching it. If you are watching this, first and foremost, thank you. I'm grateful for you being here. I'm grateful for learning from you and for this being a two-way conversation, albeit that it might be different. I do normally respond to comments. And I'm grateful for having the opportunity for sharing my thoughts and getting feedback on those. So thank you. Now, I have had a very interesting time in it. So I just wanted to give a quick update to you guys about what I've been up to, what I've learned for those experiences, what I'm observing in myself and in others, and a few other things that you might want to know about what's coming on my channel. So first and foremost, I have just got back from supposedly, I'm putting it in inverted commas, a business trip to Dubrovnik. Now, I think everyone who watches me knows that I'm really passionate about working with Asea redox molecules. And, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that because there's plenty of information on my channels. But I made a decision a long while ago in my own life that I was going to say yes to opportunities. By the time you get to my stage of life, you've learned a lot, the good, the bad, and the ugly, from life lessons that you've attracted into your life. And I'm going to carry more on to that attraction anyway. And some of those lessons can be quite painful, but some of them can just be amazing. It really depends on our perspective. So I was lucky enough to win a trip to Dubrovnik. And when I say lucky, I do greatly believe I attracted that luck through hard work and very much through taking action on where my heart was leading me. But I very quickly realized when I met Danielle and Jay and April and Dr. David Silverman and some of the other wonderful people in Asea that I've had the privilege of making to, I recognized there was something very special about the people that I was interacting with in this company. I have done a lot of different jobs in a lot of industries, from telecom to environmental management, to water quality, to project management, to healthcare, you name it, I've done it. But what I've learned along the way is it's so important to surround yourself by people that you're in energetic alignment to. Because when that happens and when you're resonating on that same frequency, oh my goodness, the changes that can happen in all of your life are just exponential. So what I've got a lot better at over the last few years is recognizing that resonance, and also recognizing something I'm going to come on to talk about, recognizing when sometimes you have to stay in challenging situations because there's a lesson that you need to learn from it. So I went to Dubrovnik, and apart from my husband coming with me, I didn't know anyone else that was going. I hadn't met anyone else personally. I'd spoken to a few people on Zoom calls, but I hadn't met any of them perfectly. For the moment I got there, I can only explain to you the energy that I was surrounded by, from everyone from corporate to all the other associates that were there that were running their own business their way. Absolutely phenomenal energy. I learned so much from so many different people on that trip. It was absolutely wonderful. I learned how amazing it is to really be doing something with your life where you're genuinely helping people from all sorts of areas, in terms of health-wise, financially wise, but really importantly on the personal development side of things as well. Because when we work on ourselves and when we're really honest and open about what's going on in our lives, and therefore what that's reflecting back to us, what lessons we might still need to learn on those circumstances, everything changes. And actually being there in person, I know you've heard this a lot, but if you can get together with people that you find inspirational, that you're going to inspire them, and get in that same physical energy filled with people, it is so powerful. So it was really fantastic. I got to try some of the new products that aren't available in the UK and the EU at the moment, but oh my goodness, you guys just wait till they can. So corporate are working really hard to get those to us, because I have seen the results for myself and they're amazing. I also had to give a little talk, which pushed me well out of my comfort zone, because, a lot of the people there, they were just so inspirational. I had so much to learn from. But pushing myself out of my comfort zone to do that was actually really good for me, because I needed to do that, and I needed to see where my next areas of growth need to be. And there's nothing clearer than putting yourself in that situation to be able to reflect back on, say, fantastic, this is where I need to work on myself next. And I want to carry, before I go on to my even more exciting journey back and what that taught me, I want to just cover a few things that we covered in there. Now, everyone there was amazing. So I haven't got time to pick out everything for you, but Tyler Norton, the founder of Asea, everyone had told me, oh my goodness, wait till you hear him speak, wait till you meet him in person. And I was not disappointed. I was a bit skeptical because I'm not, come on, guys, I'm British. I'm quite reserved on, I don't do the hero worship thing. And that wasn't what people meant at all. And certainly not what Tyler attracts. But when you meet someone, I would put Tyler and Chuck and Ben, the corporate people, and Edward and Rainer there. These people, they are on par with the Joe Dispensers of these world. And I do not say that lightly, because you all know that I find Joe Dispenza so inspirational, because when I practice what he talks about, my life changes. But all of this team were just as informational, and the other people that spoke, because they really came from the heart. And what Tyler spoke about, which I think is so, so important for where we're all at now and where all you lovely listeners are. I am so lucky to have an audience that is really pushing their boundaries of themselves, that wants to learn, that wants to make themselves and the world a better place. And Tyler spoke about becoming the new version of you. And it was so, so powerful. He talked about when we have that honest humility, genuine compassion and genuine kindness, how everything around us can change, and the balance between really letting go of that self-focus. Now, when I mean letting go of the self-focus, I don't mean letting go of taking ownership and responsibility for where you're at in your life, but I mean taking away, making it all about you, in terms of, when you start to give back, oh my goodness, the universe gives back to you tenfold. And that's something I have seen play out in my life over and over again, and very much with my Asea work, because what I'm finding is the more I support other people, the more that support comes back to me tenfold. So I think a lot of the lessons that Tyler spoke about are going to be very applicable, and I'm going to bring them in about when I talk about some of the things that I want to talk about relating to my channel. So it was really, really powerful, and I learned so much. I also learned a lot on the plane journey home. So to cut a very long story short, went to leave on Sunday to fly home, which was a direct flight, only like a 3-hour flight back to the UK. But we got about an hour into our plane ride, and I happened to be sitting over the left wing of the plane, sitting next to another lovely lady that I hadn't met before, and the chap in front of us. And a lot of people were having a little doze by this time, or reading their books or listening to something, but we weren't. We were just looking out the window. And we looked out the window and we heard this pop, and then saw a flame come out of the engine. And this was not normal. I've been on a lot of plane drives, and this was not normal. And bear in mind, I'm quite deaf, and if I could hear the pop really loudly over the engine noise, then trust me, it was loud. So we called over the steward, who was very professional and very calm, but I could just tell that this was something serious. He really wanted to know exactly what we've seen. The three of us were very, very calm, report about what we've seen. He went and told the captain. And then very shortly afterwards, the captain made an announcement that we had a problem with one of the engines, and we were going to have to divert to Venice, and not because we wouldn't be able to proceed to the UK. And then we had sort of a 40-minute where we knew that there was something wrong with the engines, but obviously where we had to do the descent and get to Venice and land safely there. I'm here, so we did land safely, but I'm not going to pretend it wasn't very hairy, because there was very obviously an engine failure by that stage. And there were a lot of people, including a lot of babies and young children on board. But that taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about, one, how professional the staff was and how brilliant the pilot. The pilot looked about the same age as my son. He was so calm, and he had a really good sense of humor as well, which I always find important in these situations. All the crew did their job amazingly, and everyone on the plane was very calm, which was fantastic. But what it really sort of taught me is, first and foremost, I haven't got things in order at home, and I need to be a bit more prepared for the sake of my children. But secondly, it was a great place to practice my Wim Hof breathing and all the things I talk about controlling your energy field and manifesting a positive outcome. So we then got stuck in Venice for a long time. I think it was about 16 hours. The Italian police were not playing ball. They wouldn't let anyone leave. There were a lot of babies with no food, etc. But what was interesting is to see different people's reactions to this. And there was no judgment. So some people, as soon as I told her, I was just very relieved that we'd landed safely, because what a responsibility for that pilot and that crew. And also, it's very interesting, which doesn't happen to me often, when you're in a situation in your life where you've got no control over the situation. You know, there's nothing I could do apart from control my energy and where my thoughts were going. I couldn't physically land the plane with a faulty engine. Luckily, the pilot did that. So that was very, very interesting about, you know, let go and let God really comes to mind there. But it's also interesting to see what happened. So once everyone was very, very relieved, and trust me, everyone was very, very relieved when we landed safely and all the fire engines came round and they had to inspect the plane and everything. But then some people very quickly switched into, what can I get out of this? How much compensation can I get? How much can I you know, why can't I go and explore Venice and all things like this? And it was a major job for a poor old airline to actually put on a new plane and get a new plane and a new crew flown over from the UK to Italy. And what was very obvious, and there's no judgment here because everyone's experiencing their own unique situation on this, but what's very obvious is the people that they were then switching into, what conversation can I get, what can I get out of it, were the ones that were really angry, really frustrated and having a very hard time. The people who were very much in a state of gratitude, thank goodness we had such a great pilot, such a great crew, thank goodness we found the problem when we were in a place where we could divert fairly quickly into another airport. They were the ones that just sat back, enjoyed the situation and got to know each other a bit better. So there's always something for us to learn, and learn from a place of non-judgment, just honest reflection of where we're at. So that taught me a lot. And the other thing that it's taught me is I'm really, really inspired now to, even more so than I have been, to surround myself with people that are in an energetic alignment, that want to move their worlds forward, that want to make this world by their actions a better place. So I am actively looking for people to join me on my team, whether that's, you know, the Asea team, some of the other products I work with. You know, if you're looking to take the next step up and take control of your health, your finances, putting your energy into helping others, then please reach out. You know, all my contact details are below, and we can have a chat and see whether it's an energetic alignment or not. And Jay and April from Spiritual and myself are going to be running a really good sort of training thing for that, for people to really help sort of fast track their experiences for that, for again, for those that it aligns with. So please do, you know, I want to really, it's shown me even more so how important it is having the right people on your team. And the great thing is about a business like this, it's your business, you do it your way. Everyone there had a completely unique way of doing it, and they were all successful, you know, but there's a team to support there if you so wish it. So one of the other things I want to discuss, I've been seeing a lot in the YouTube world, etc., a lot of division and drama. And I just wanted to talk about this a bit. Now, everyone knows I'm going to bring out a few of my favorite books. And people have heard me talk about this before. So Don Miguel Ruiz and Don Jose Ruiz wrote the 4 Agreements and the 5th Agreement. And one of the favorite ones that I really love is not taking anything personally. They're all brilliant. But wherever your journey, wherever you're at, and this ties into what Tyler was talking about the creating the next version of you, taking responsibility for where you're at now from a kind and compassionate place is really, really important, because we are all seeing everything that's happening in our lives through our lens and our perception and our judgment. So if you're saying, let's just take an obvious example, if you're seeing something on YouTube where someone said something about someone else, I want everyone to understand what you're drawn to in particular: books, TV, interviews, films, podcasts, whatever it might be, that your information you're consuming. Whatever you're drawn to from that interaction of that information you're consuming is giving you a really good indication of where your consciousness is. And what your next lesson is you need to learn. So if you're listening to something and you are focused on the drama of that, someone said something about someone else and you are drawn to react to that because you disagree with that, you see it as unfair. Trust me, I'm not saying this from a place of judgment. I'm just saying, please recognize that reaction is 100% about you and where you are. It's nothing to do with what the other person said, because 100 other people can watch that and will not even notice that. They'll take something different out of that book or that interview or that podcast or that film. And the reason why you're noticing it is because there's an important lesson in it for you. And your choice is whether you choose to see that as a lesson or whether you choose to project it back on someone else. So I've had, and honestly, it does make me laugh now, people saying that they're so disappointed in me because of this or that. And I'm like, wow, this person needs a lot of self-love. And I'm not saying that from a place of judgment, because I've been there and I still go there sometimes. But I know enough now to know that when I'm judging someone else, I am absolutely judging myself. And it's much easier for us as humans to divert that attention onto someone else than it is to sit with it and realize that who we're really talking about ourselves. Whether someone else in your perception or not has done something that you're deciding in this interaction to label as wrong is none of your business, because that's their lesson to learn. And it's always two sides of the story, always two sides of the story. But if you're choosing to engage in that drama, that is because you personally have got a lesson to that, and only you will know what that lesson is. But projecting that out with not kindness on being cruel to other people, whether it's the person that said something that you are perceiving is wrong, when you don't know that. You might have a favorite that you like to listen to and you'll defend your life, and that's your right to do so. But when you're doing it from a place of resorting to the very behavior that you're criticizing, then you really do need to realize that that says about where you're at, not about the person. Because we can only keep that energy of drama and division going if we engage in that energy and procreate it. So those people that have chosen to not engage in that, they will notice, and absolutely, you'll all quite rightly so have your own opinions and own lessons for it. But what would happen if we looked at these situations and sent both parties love, that we didn't engage in what's their lesson to learn and we took out of it what was our lesson to learn? Can you imagine what a different place the world would be? It doesn't mean you're not allowed to be triggered. You are absolutely allowed to be triggered. You're absolutely allowed to have an opinion on what's right or wrong. You're allowed to express that opinion, but how you choose to express that opinion says a lot about you. As I quote all the time, one of my favorite Wayne Dyer quotes is, if you squeeze an orange, only orange juice can come out. So if you're watching or reading something or listening to something that is triggering hate, nastiness, judgment, or any of those low vibrations, those cannot come out. They can't be triggered by whoever's saying it or written it if those emotions aren't with you, because other people aren't feeling that. Some are, and it's human nature. We've got to be kind to ourselves. It's human nature to jump on and connect with those of us that think like we do and back up our opinion on things. That's completely human nature, but it doesn't mean it's right, and it doesn't mean it serves us. Sometimes what can serve us most is to look at the person's opinion that's got an opposite opinion to us, not to agree with it, to say, what am I missing here? What can I learn? What is this showing me about where I'm closed off? So I'm not engaging in a lot of this drama. I've learned enough. Trust me, I've engaged in enough drama in my life to know that it doesn't serve me. And most importantly, it certainly doesn't serve anyone else. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do and what not to do. I'm just here to point out to you and hold a mirror up and reflect back. Are you being kind? Is your response, are you accepting that your response is through your lens and your judgment? And Can you open your heart enough to understand that whereas you're entitled to that, it doesn't need to reflect what other people are doing? And for you to project your judgments on, say, you know, how boring it would be if I only interviewed people that I 100% agreed to. One, I would learn nothing. And two, you as the listeners wouldn't see alternative points of view. But what we can learn is we can learn about how people respond to these. And do they respond in anger? Do they respond with found language? Do they respond, or do they respond with focus and calmness? And are people willing to allow others to fight their own battles, learn their own mistakes, and for us to learn our own? So I think that's a really important message, I think, on that. One of the other things that I love now, my good friend Danielle Matthews, she is a superstar, this woman. She has got a Facebook page, Danielle Matthews. She has got an Instagram page. She's got a YouTube channel, and she happens to be a dear friend and also a mentor for me in the Asea business. And Danielle is doing, I want to draw your attention to it, she's doing a brilliant book club on her Facebook and Instagram, and I think she's slowly uploading them to her YouTube, on Wayne Dyer's book, The Power of Intention. Now, I'm not going to go through everything Danielle said, because quite frankly, she does it way better than I ever could. But what I want to say is go and listen to this book club. Each episode and discussion is only half an hour long, and there are some absolute gems in there, some absolute gems. But one of the ones I wanted to, that caught my attention, which is on page 137. I love this book. I've had this book for years, and I lent it to someone and I never got it back. And it was so good that I went and bought another copy when Danielle started doing her book club. And one of the things it says is, I'm just going to read you a little passage, is what you think of yourself is what you think of the world. How do you see the world you live in? What do you think people in general are really like? Do you believe that evil is triumphing over good? Is the world filled with egocentric, selfish people? Can the little guy ever get ahead? Are government entities and all their representatives corrupt and untrustworthy? Is life unfair? One of the best things my dad said to us girls when we were younger, always did, life's not fair, get over it. And it's brilliant because your focus doesn't stay on it being unfair. Is it impossible to get ahead if you don't have connections? All of these attitudes emerge from your own assessment of your own personal interaction with life. This is very linked into don't take things personally, and we're all in our own movie that I said about for the 4 agreements. If your thoughts reflect a pessimistic view of the world, then that's actually how you feel about yourself. If your thoughts reflect an optimistic view of the world, then that's how you feel about your life. Whatever your attitude you have about the world in general is a good indicator of the respect you have for your abilities to intend into this world what you desire. Pessimism strongly suggests that you don't subscribe to the idea that you can access the power of intention to help you create your own blissful reality. Now, there's loads more in this book. Please, I'll put the links below to Danielle's book clubs, where you can access her YouTube, her Instagram, and her Facebook page. They're so good. Half an hour of your time each week, you will learn so much. But, you know, or one of the other things Danielle said in her latest one is you can't steer a parked car. You know, you need to get some momentum and some movement going in the direction of how you want to create your life, how you want to feel about life, the people that you want to attract in, whether it's business, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's rebuilding fractured friendships, etc. What and who are you attracting into your life? And the great thing is, it doesn't matter what your starting point is, whatever your starting point is, that's fine, because you can decide where you go from this moment forward. Everything in the past is just a lesson. Be kind to yourselves. If you've reacted in a way that's not kind, that's okay. We all do it. But let's not, you know, if we are judging anyone else, we are judging ourselves, period. We cannot see that negativity in others if there isn't some of that in ourselves. People that have really worked through that, and I am certainly not there yet. You know, when I'm talking about this, I'm sharing the journey I'm on. I'm absolutely not pretending that I've got this sorted. But when we genuinely deal others with compassion, and even if in our perception or our reality that we're living in now, or my movie that's playing for me, and these are the characters that's showing up in my movie, remember I'm a character in their movie. And remember they're seeing me in a very different way of how I see myself. And all of that's okay, because we're all here to learn our own lessons, or how some of us like to say, remember more what we're here to do. So I think the lesson that I've learned over the last week, which has been really, really beautifully shown to me by being inspired by these amazing people that I've had the pleasure to interact with, is gratitude is real. When you jump on that gratitude journey, everything in your life starts changing. When you start not judging others, that has to start with not judging yourself. And whichever way you start at, it doesn't matter, because it's an iterative process. For me, the beauty is now when I see that I'm passing judgment on others, I 100% understand that that's my perception. My reality is not a truth. It's through my lens. And that means if I'm seeing it, there's a lesson that I need to learn, not that they need to learn. I can't possibly know what lessons they need to learn. That is none of my business. What's my business is how am I responding to the situation, and am I learning from it, and am I being a kinder person? Am I focusing on how I can help others, how I can create what I want to see? And I've seen such brilliant examples of that over the last week. It's really inspired me to be the best person of myself. So moving forward, you will continue to see a real variety of things on my channel. I would really encourage you to click on some of those buttons of things that are outside your comfort zone. I've got things on animal health. I've got things on human health. My recent interview with Yvette Rose, that woman is a powerhouse of knowledge gained through life experiences. Absolutely amazing. She will be coming back. I've got the amazing Kelly Thiel coming back again, the amazing Jamie Soleil coming back again. All of these people, I've got some new guests coming that are a little bit in the future because of schedules that you are going to love. And I would encourage us all to perhaps pick a few things. Doesn't need to be on YouTube. It can be books, it can be podcast, it can be your meditations, your cold showers, your breathing, whatever it might be, but challenge ourselves to take some slightly different action, open up our perspectives, and just ask, what if I change my focus? What might change in my life with that change of focus? What am I choosing? Am I choosing to see drama, or am I choosing to see compassion? And then just have a look for all of us to see, is that when I'm being honest myself, is that what's reflecting in my life? Let me know what you see. And all I would ask for my channel is, I love interaction. Interaction is why I do this. But I think all of us in a world of instant action, I would just ask every single person, myself included, to reflect before posting that comment. Is what I'm going to post move the world forward in the direction that I want? It doesn't mean I'm expecting people to agree with me. Please don't think that. But there's a way of expressing yourself that can be kind, compassionate, and not inflicting your judgments on other people. So when we make it about ourselves and how it's made you feel, absolutely valid. When we project those feelings on others, this is why I really do feel that we're caught in this loop, in this cycle, and not going anywhere particularly fast at the moment as a race. So be like a dog, be like a cat. If I please, understand what I'm trying to do in this channel, and if that's not for you, then by all means, that's absolutely fine. It's a choice whether you decide to listen or not. But my channel is about expanding consciousness through curiosity. To do that, I need different thought leaders. I need different perspectives. I need people that are going to express themselves in different ways, so we can all see what resonates and what we want to take and leave the rest. And that is what I'm going to continue to do. And I wouldn't want to agree with everyone. It's not my place. My place when I'm interviewing people, if I'm having a roundtable discussion, then I will absolutely put my opinions forward, being very clear that they're just my opinions with my limited view of the world as I see it from my current level of consciousness. But when I'm interviewing people, I'm going to give the people I interview the respect to be allowed to put their opinions forward. And then I'm going to give you, the listeners, the chance with respect to see what resonates with you, take what resonates, take what you can learn with to move yourself forward and move the world forward, and leave what doesn't. But when you put comments in a respectful way, I promise you, you'll start to feel better and kinder to yourself as well as others. I hope that makes sense. It's sometimes difficult to have these without a live interaction. Doing the best I can with that. And thank you, every single one that's watching this, every single one that shares it, that likes, that comments. I do learn from you all, and I'm hoping that we can all learn from each other and continue to be kinder, more compassionate humans that focus on, you know, I can't remember who is it that said, ask not what your country can do for you, what can you do for your country? How embarrassing. I can't remember who said it, but that's, you know, this is what we need to do. What can we do for others? How can we, with our responses, help those people who are in a certain turmoil in their lives? How can we help them? And therefore, how can we help ourselves? Much love to you all. I'm off to give all my doggies a little kiss now and try and find the cats. Bye. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious, and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, catherineedwards.life and catherineedwardsacademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family, and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.